In this video, I'll be talking about ways to organize your Google Drive. Please keep in mind that these are just some basic concepts that you can use to organize your Google Drive. Google Drive does not come with some predetermined structure that is superimposed on you in terms of setting up your Google Drive for teaching. It's a wide open tool, and the best part about this is that it allows you to ultimately make the decisions about what works best for you. You might ultimately determine that the way that you want to organize your Google Drive for teaching has more to do with the content that you teach and the grade level or levels that you work with rather than some structure that's imposed upon you. What I'm going to cover in this video is just a few different ways that you can organize some content. In the first example, let's talk about unit plans because it may be ultimately more important for you to organize your teaching materials in Google Drive or to upload your teaching materials from your current system into unit plans. It may make more sense that way. Notice that I've set up my unit plan folders and I've given each one a number, and that keeps everything laid out in order for me. In this example, I set up an ELA guidebook folder for grade 6, and I created a folder for each one of the units. Notice that I also added some numbers to these folders. I'm assuming in this example that Steve Jobs will be unit number 1. And to add numbers to folders that you've created, to put them in order, just go to Rename, and you'll have the option to go in and create a number for each folder. It's a best practice if you have a lot of materials and they do follow a sequence to give them a number. I like to use a 2-digit numbering system, and then I'll put a dash and then the name of the folder. On the other hand, it may be more important for you to organize your resources around whether or not you teach in 6-week or 9-week cycles. Here's an example of 6-week folders, and you can see I've got these numbered as well. So I will begin uploading my teaching resources from the T drive or from USB drives or from my desktop. I will begin to upload my materials based on which of the 6 weeks it represents. If you're an elementary teacher, K through 8, the 9-week structure may be more important to you. Again, there is no structure in Google Drive that you must follow. If your teaching is organized around a textbook or a guidebook that you're following, and that resource is organized into chapters instead of units or weeks, I would create a folder structure to accommodate that. And so in this example, I'll just call it chapters. Open the folder and start creating new folders for each chapter. Within each folder, you might want to create additional folders that include things like lesson plans, assessments, and so on. Again, if you want these in a certain sequence, you could add numbers, and that's an easy way to organize the information. Now, a different way to organize Google Drive is to create some kind of naming convention on all of your files and sometimes even on all of your folders. Many teachers, when they have a file, it will have to have some kind of name, and these are just some examples of names of files that you would have: assessments, bell ringers, exit tickets, lesson plans, and meeting notes. You might not use all of these, or you might have additional folders that you would create based on things that are significant to you. Under lesson plans, for example, I've created a naming convention which indicates the date for each one of my lesson plans, and that date is indicated by the week of the lesson plans. You could put the date, or you could say week 1, week 2, and so on. But the point is, I wouldn't create any file in this folder unless it had a date. And this is an expert tip that many people use. So any document created in this folder will necessarily have a date. And that can create a structure for your Google Drive that will make it very easy for you to go back and find those files. If your teaching resources are more about your different class periods, you may want to set up a class period organizational structure for your folders. And you can see I've set this up: first hour, second hour, third hour, and fourth hour. Notice that I added numbers to the folders to make it a little bit easier to keep the structure aligned when you move from grid view to list view.